Welcome back to the Culture Crusade. It is good to be here, and we have like big topics, two big ones. We'll see how we go. We generally like to go in, detailed on them. But right out of the gate,
John left.
Sorry, what?
John left. Oh, there he is.
Yes, John.
No, I didn't. I was here the whole time.
All right. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. That's going to be our opening topic. And then we're going to translate into Hollywood's massive meltdown. They are losing it. They are freaking out. They genuinely are panicking, especially Disney, because there's been a paradigm shift forward with AI video, and they do not know what to do. But before we get into all that fun, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes.
Episode 5. Now, John, you're a bit late on it, but you have watched episode 4 and stuff. But I am interested to hear your views as someone who's kind of still getting into the show. What are you thinking on it so far, mate?
Well, overall, I have enjoyed it. I've only gotten up to the midway point of episode 2. I was watching it with my wife until my kids got up, and thank God they got up after the beginning of episode 2. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Because my wife turned to me and she's like, really? And I was telling Shad about this before we went live. That my wife is a really good resource to have, because she's a normie and she's very boomer coded. And so now she did watch Game of Thrones with me. She enjoyed it, but her favorite part was the realistic looking dragons. That was what she tuned in for the most, more than anything. And so obviously was, Game of Thrones famous not being quite a lot like traditional fantasy, much more graphic violence and nudity, a lot of other more adult things. And that is the big takeaway that I've kind of come away from this. I was enjoying it. This felt very wholesome. It was a great change from a lot of fantasy that we've seen, a lot of grimdark that's kind of crept in and popularity since Game of Thrones got popular. But it felt like such a tonal whiplash, the more stark and kind of shocking elements, because this is still Westeros. People are still dicks, and sometimes dicks are even on display. And it started out kind of great, the scene of him behind the tree and the old guy coming out of the old knight coming out in the flashback at the front of the hut. And I'm just sitting there going like, this would be so much better without this stuff. Yeah. I know Westeros is, much more based in a darker reality kind of element, but a lot of it ended up taking me out. And I think that maybe because my tastes for fantasy and fiction have kind of changed over the last few years. I've developed a much more, sour, negative look on Game of Thrones in general, partly because of the content and partly because of Martin himself. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of clashing with me a little bit. Overall, when it's not doing that stuff, I'm highly enjoying it. The actors are great. The sets look great. It's nice to see some fantasy that doesn't feel too fantastic, but doesn't look too fake. I mean, Wheel of Time and Willow and The Witcher, so many of those they look so fake at times, so too much theater production looking, I guess. And
overly produced.
A little bit.
Willow sucked. Willow was just disappointing. I like Willow as a movie. So I was really hoping Willow TV show would be awesome, but it sucked really badly.
One of the worst shows I have ever seen. So bad, Disney removed it from the screen.
They pulled a Stalin on it and kind of erased it from the photo.
Yes, they want it gone from history.
I mean, there is no Willow show.
Yeah, don't even get me
started. There is no
Willow
in Bossing Say.
But you're right about this show having such a better identity, and it's one of the more medieval, realistically grounded Game of Thrones adaptations to date, and as a result, it is just standing out amongst so much of the slop. And with what you were saying there, like when you get past the annoying stuff that isn't necessary, this is the best show on television. Best show probably going to be of the year, and it's up there with amongst my favorites for what it does. Hey, Rhino, good to see you, mate. Rhino in the chat, and of course, Nathan Cassidy, our, valiant mod. Appreciate you guys all, and everyone in the chat. Hello to everyone in the chat.
I will say though, in the first
that's an interesting point about the armor. I kind of wonder if it wasn't for the graphic novel, if they would have still gone fantasy heavy on the armor.
I don't think it would have been as good without the graphic novel, Mike.
Because everything else in Game of Thrones is more fantasy laden armor.
Real quick, Shad, I'm sorry to say my son is getting off early, so I need to go ahead and go. But that's my 5-minute review of the first episode and a half of Night of Seven Kingdoms. I'll be caught up then when we talk next week. And the guys, if you pray and wish my son luck, this is his last week of tech school. He will be graduated and ready for going out and getting his first job out in the world. And we're going to give him a congratulations.
Nice.
But I need to go ahead and go get him and pick him up and bring him home because I'm his ride.
No worries, mate. But
I'll see you guys next week, okay?
Yep, will do. And Rhino, I know you're probably at work, but the invitation is always open, mate. And I know you have some thoughts that you want to get off your chest. So if you're available, I've sent you the link. You're more than free to join us, mate. Sorry, Litdev, you were going to say something about the
first episode. So, did you remember ever seen Goblin Slayer? And you know how the first episode became really famous for being really extreme. That's what I think they were doing with the dunk behind the tree. It's like the first few minutes to me, the team clearly has an artistic vision of like, this is how the show is going to go, because they've been switching around scenes and everything and making to like, okay, this is how we kind of, we know the story, but we kind of want to tell it this way. There's a way we want to tell it so it can be better for what we have in mind for the dunk and egg story and everything. And of course, it's HBO, so they kind of want to let you know that, hey, it's not for kids. So, boom, we're going to have Dunk poop behind a tree, and you're going to see it. And then we're going to open up the second episode with Sir Penis Tree here. Mm-hmm. And those scenes let you know that it's not for kids. I mean, it could have been, but they want to let you know that early on, is with some of these humorous scenes that are not appropriate for children, that this is going to get brutal, and it's going to get bloody later on, and we don't want kids watching it.
Because this episode does get brutal.
This is a brutal episode. But it's all like good brutality instead of like just brutality for brutality's sake, which I'm also a fan of, depending on the context, but not when it comes to like, oh, the characters were just killed off for cheap thrill. Characters that were invested in are killed off for a cheap thrill. Don't really like that as much. You get a little bit of that. Like as Brandon Sanderson says, you get a few points worth of that. You don't get a lot. You get a few points to give the person this, and this, like in a Warhammer. But in this case, it was all necessary. All the violence was necessary in this particular episode.
Well, this not only necessary, it felt grounded and realistic. Like this might be,
and it wasn't even as graphic as the book or the graphic novel.
Well, did they actually? Yeah, they don't show certain things that I was like, not wanting to see. Right?
There's there's some other people that died in the clash, but we don't see them die.
That's because it's Dunk's point of view.
Yeah,
and I thought that worked great. And no joke, this is some of the best medieval combat I've ever seen.
It felt so. Watching it, you felt tired. I mean, I felt like they just stumbling around. Like at the last moment, I was like, okay, Dunk's going to lose. And he has to lose because the other guy's like barely done anything. But no, they're both wearing heavy armor. They've both been like stumbling around, getting hit. Every time Dunk got up, he got hit in the head again and knocked back down by some horse.
That's what I'm
I was like, this boom, 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 boom. It was good. And I'm like, man, it's a good thing Dunk has a lot of HP. And it's a really good thing that he rolled a nat 20 on his death save. Otherwise, it would have gone very different.
Yeah, that's brilliant. No joke. Like, his armor saves his life so many times, and it works. Now, the thing is, like,
Steely Blade to the rescue.
He's wearing like solid chainmail, and that will prevent so many of the slashes, nearly all of the slashes the thrusts, if it's from something pointed, that can stop it completely. Or when you get penetration, you can get penetration like up to this much. It's really hard to thrust through chainmail. I've tested in real life, and I'm going to make dedicated videos testing out the actual blows that Dunk receives on my mail. So that's going to be getting produced on Shadiversity. And you know what I want to test? So this one is going to be interesting. This has to be just a video on itself, separate to all of the Dunk's hits. The final hits on Baylor Breakspear, to see if a medieval helmet could do that much damage. But there is kind of like a caveat, because I don't actually, well, it would have to be such a really powerful hit from a mace to cave in the back of a properly made helmet that much that it would crush and open up the back of your skull. There is a bit of a caveat though. His armor that Baylor was wearing wasn't his, it was his son's.
Valar's, yeah.
And if the armor was too small, that means the only way this is an interesting caveat that I'm going to explore in the video. If the helmet was too small, he might not have been wearing a padding underneath, a padded coif underneath, which meant it could have been just.
Well, I mean, he wasn't, because he took his helmet off the previous episode and he wasn't wearing anything under the helmet.
Well, they also sometimes have a suspension rig, which counters for it, which is fixed into the helmet as well, that you can't see. And so, but if there wasn't there and it was just resting on the back of his head, okay, that's going to transfer a hell of a lot of force if it caves in. And so I'm going to put one of my helmets on the line and test it out. The thing is, though, actual medieval helmets, they're like 2mm thick steel. They're really, really hard to cave in. If they're 1mm thick, you can do it. That's much easier. And I got two separate helmets to test that out on. So that's going to be interesting. But look, if you got a powerful enough blow, you'll be able to cave in a thicker helmet even with that. And that's an actual plot point, that it was his brother, I forget the brother's name, but he says Maekar is very strong, like Maekar's blows, and Maekar is a particularly tough guy, and so it is justified. But I want to see how difficult it is to pull it off, and so that's all going to be fun on Shadiversity, because this combat is brutal. But honestly, I've only watched it once. I need to sit down and study the thing, watch it multiple times now.
It was really you kind of felt like you were there, and with Dunk, it kind of felt like the audience member, was there, because you think it's going to be valiant knights riding into romantic battle, but then it gets dirty. You fall off the horse like immediately. You're in the dirt. You get knocked out. I thought Dunk was out immediately, like but because he gets knocked out, it goes to flashback scene. But that's kind of like what actually happened, like his first actual battle like this, and then he gets knocked out immediately. That's definitely what would happen to us. I mean, most of us, that's definitely what happened. But then he gets back up, and he gets knocked down again, and he gets back up, and it's just like everyone's sliding in the mud. There's this chaos everywhere. He's barely able to see through his visor. It's crazy. It's complete chaos.
Yeah, and
fighting the prince.
Yeah, and it is straight out of the book, but they did. I had someone complain to me earlier today that they added too much to the fight, and I'm like, if you just went by the hits and the falls in the book, that would have been a 30-second fight.
Yeah, like 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes at most. It would have been like I love that they expanded the fight and added to it. And what I also liked, we got to see some of Dunk's training, and they show a great skill disparity between him and I forget the name of the main prince.
Bad prince, evil prince.
Evil prince, right? But Dunk still knows how to fight. And there's some good sword play. He gets the sword out and they exchange some blows. And I can't wait to study, just to go in depth, because at one point he does
Dunk's sword play was like what was that last Star Wars movie where they're just swinging the lightsabers like they're baseball bats?
Oh yeah,
but he does half sword. Like, the guy is tired. I think it's justified, and he does show some measure of technique, but nowhere near the level of polish.
And then he gets him in the leg with turning the sword around and getting got him.
That was great.
That's a serious wound. That's not
that is great.
That's like you can walk off. That's a serious wound.
And that's one of the main targets in armored combat, is on the inner thigh where it is less armored. And so there were so many like gold moments in the fight that rung true to what medieval combat was like. And the fact that his armor prevented so many of the hits, but not the lance hit that really, really kind of got deep. And man, that was that like was it that deep in the graphic novel and novel, like
the spear?
The first spear hit, because
I mean, it was up higher in his chest, but
oh yeah, that's right. See, it fits better in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
If you see in the bottom right here that it's not like what they showed in the TV show.
Yeah, it looked
that's
like it was 6 inches in.
That's like a death wound. I don't. That one's really a bit hard for me to think you'll live from that, because that was vicious. Right.
Yeah, Dunk is dead. That's right. Well, again, he has a lot of HP, as we've seen, but he's really beaten up. It's kind of like it kind of the end of the episode kind of reminds me of the end of was it Rocky 4 with the one where you fight Drago. Like Rocky at the end of that one's all beat to hell, and that's kind of what Dunk felt like. The swollen eye, cut me, Mick, cut me, and he had that moment there. Like I feel like that he would have that moment, but then the good prince walks in at the end. And then he just gets on his knee and goes, "I'm your man. Thank you very much." Like he's still, even after all that pain, he's still grateful. He still wants to be good old Dunk, just humble and respectful to those who help him and everything. He's very earnest guy, even through all that pain.
It's not even just that. That's the promise of the premise, right? Where in the very beginning, he's like, well, maybe some great house will hire me, right? And at the end of this, you're like, oh yes, this great house is going to hire me. And he's like, I'm your man. You are with the, I need good men. That's the fulfillment. And then, maybe not.
I gotta feel a little weird here, and boom, he's dead.
Yeah, and that's like such a bittersweet, but dynamic ending to it, because it has such far-reaching implications as well. Like this guy, he was the heir to the throne, hand of the king, and just a genuine
and would have been the best king ever.
Best king.
Yeah.
Yep. But he.
I'm not gonna lie, something did fall into my eye.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Both eyes.
Yeah.
I like the egg scenes where Eggs is hoping that he wins. Like there's that moment where they have the exchange, like, "Hey, don't be robbing me, or I'll chase you with dogs." And Eggs like, "Woof." And it's like because Eggs is obviously scared. He doesn't want Dunk to die. No one wants Dunk to die except for assholes. But the Egg is in the crowd going, just get up, sir, get up. And then we have Arlan. The Arlan thing kind of was interesting with the flashback and everything because, Arlan, as far as you've seen, is kind of like a drunk and a loser.
Well, no, hold on a second. So the deal with Arlan, and this is right after the Red Grass Field, right? You don't get this information until the next story. But remember the little burial mound in front of Arlan? That's Roger. That's Roger of Pennytree. That was Arlan's nephew, who was his squire. And that's how Dunk becomes Arlan's squire, is because he just lost his nephew at the Battle of Redgrass Field. That's probably why he's on a drinking spree. He's all
drunk.
Yeah,
it makes sense. We haven't seen that yet, but this episode really kind of sheds more of a positive light on Arlan because he's like this drinking in a tavern. He sees these two kids being assaulted by strangers, and he just jumps in. No questions asked. Just immediately beheads a guy. Like, oh crap!
In the name of the mother, leave that boy alone.
That was awesome. So then from that moment, I saw that okay, this is where Dunk really gets it from. I mean, Dunk was a good kid, a good guy to begin with, but you could see that it was fostered by Arlan because Arlan has also some sort of. He's kind of like Frank Miller. When Frank Miller describes his characters as white knights in blood-soaked armor. Arlan is kind of like that, where he doesn't really seem like the traditional romantic chivalric knight, but deep down he kind of is. He kind of has that sense of honor that does not go away even when he's drunk.
Yeah. And that's why I loved the flashback. It actually gave us really great additional characterization of Arlan that really completed his character. And this guy he's a good guy. He risk his life to help other people. He's also, dealing with massive loss, but he's also doesn't coddle like when Dunk is following him for so long and he just collapses, and Arlan, when he gets over it, does it is like, are you all right? He just says, get up.
Hey, quit messing around.
Yep. And that's the thing that kind of complements the scene where Dunk gets first laid out and is lying down, and he has the flashback to Arlan saying, "Get up."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we also get more because people have been on the fence about the flashback and critical of it, saying it was out of place or it was too long or it had too much girl boss and stuff like that. And I disagree with all those criticisms.
I do too.
I thought their flashback helped enhance the context of not of what we've just seen, but the fight as well. And it helped fill out the episode. Like Mike said, if you go directly what the book is, you're talking at like, 30 seconds to 2-minute fight at most. And then they did expand it. We got heaps of fight scene. This is like 15 minutes long, around there. And to draw it out any more would feel excessive and unrealistic. Where the length of the fight seemed appropriate because they could barely walk at the end. Like, what more are you going to really squeeze out of that? And people might say, "Oh, the combat from everyone else."
Put my screen on so we can show people what we're talking about here, because this is after Dunk gets knocked off his horse. And remember that first time that he hits him, or he tries to hit him on the mace, Dunk actually rolls away from the mace and then just grabs his legs, drops him on the ground, and then beats him with his shield. So everything between
that's in the show as well. They don't cut out any of these.
No, they don't cut this. What they do is between this and this, they add like 10 minutes of fighting.
Yep.
So it literally, it would have just been bump, 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 and then like he rips his shield away.
He would have won.
And then starts beating the smack out of his face with his shield, and that's it.
The struggle they gave Dunk in the show was a lot better, I think, because it really shows that this is a big struggle, and it kind of kept the tension high. You don't know what the hell's going on. Like, Dunk is going to die. Like, what's happening?
I mean, and I love that. I love that Dunk was pushed not just to his limit, past his limit, where he just passed out from pain, and then something inside gave him that extra power, and it was Egg calling out, and then the vision of his
Arlan.
Master,
it was
Arlan.
both. It was Egg and Arlan. The people who were closest to him, like, get up, and he did. Yeah. And he didn't get up and like was supercharged. He's like, okay, I'm up.
He can barely I love that. That's like, the notion that, when you're fighting for something that is right, that you can just keep going and push yourself beyond your limits, no matter what, because you can't give up. That is an ennobling concept that they injected into that. That was not as prevalent in the original work, and then they add that into, and it is that notion that you have more capacity to overcome than and you can push yourself even further if you just don't give up. And that is what was added into it, and I loved that. And then the flashbacks, like I said, I felt enhanced it because that's what he was looking back to. But not only that, right? The flashback, like I said, we got as much fight scene as we could get out of what they showed, and then that's still not a full episode. I knew flashbacks were coming because I watched the trailer for the upcoming episodes. Oh, flashbacks. And then I thought that makes perfect sense. He's going to be in through the fight. Something is going to happen, which is going to cause him to reflect back on something. And so it didn't jar me, but for some people, I guess it's jarring them because there was this big build up to the fight. He gets this big hit and then it's a cut. And it's like people are getting blue balls from that, saying, I was ready for a fight.
That was good. I think that was good. I hated it, but that was only because I want to see the fight. But it was a good method. It was the Kafka method. I did the same thing with Metamorphosis, where it begins with like, oh yeah, he's a bug. Anyway, here's the pictures. Here's the room. It keeps you interested because people are not really sure. It's like it's a guarantee that you're going to be at least somewhat invested in the flashback because you want to watch the flashback to get back to the fight. So people are high, like, okay, what's going on here? So people are kind of more invested, more intrigued by the flashback. Like, okay, I want to watch this so we can get back to the fight, as opposed to, okay, fight and then flashback, or flashback and then fight.
There's something
tension, high attention.
There's something important about the flashback that I don't think I've heard anybody talk about, because they had to edit it out because it would have been great to have a voiceover or something where he says he vanquished Sir Duncan the Tall, but he couldn't vanquish Dunk of Flea Bottom, right? So they couldn't say that. But when they had Dunk scrapping as a little 10-year-old 12, however old he was, kid freaking biting the guy he's fighting, like every dirty trick he could come up with. That's Dunk of Flea Bottom, right? So that's the context of you want to see this in the flashback that this kid who grew up in the mud and now he's fighting again in the mud, right? Is like fighting tooth and nail and using everything. He's not using fancy and knightly skills. He's like grabbing people by the leg and beating them up with a shield, you know.
His brawler style is awesome,
right?
And in that moment, I was like, he beats Evil Prince, and he's like, I yield, and then Dunk's like, okay, I technically won, but I think he's genre savvy. He knows how Game of Thrones works. Like, okay, I'm gonna get hit in the head, get knocked out, and he's gonna be like, I never said I yield. So he grabs his leg. I was like, damn, Dunk. He's like almost dead, and he's dragging not only a body but an armored body with one hand, and he picks him up like this guy is Frankenstein. Like, say it. And then I was wondering, is he going to say it, or is he like, I don't say anything, or is he going to? What is he going to do? But he's like, yeah, I retract my accusation.
Which brings that to the conclusion. I have some additional thoughts about the flashback because I think it helps on multiple levels. Now, Rhino had I think a valid enough comment where he felt the flashback should have been before the charge, and like I can see people that because the charge has this big build up, and then you kind of get blue balls with the flashback. I didn't get that. And I actually think because he's knocked out and is down, the flashback helps contextualize the get up moment where he needs to get up.
That's what it was.
And so that's why I think actually where it was worked narratively for what it was. Even if it gives a bit of blue balls, it gives that strength and that powerful moment of get up because he has to do it multiple times. The other thing that the flashback does is by revealing his relationship with his childhood, not just friend, his childhood love, and her name was Rafe. Right?
I take issue with that. I don't think he didn't say he was in love with her. I just think they loved each other like family.
But see, I think that helped, I guess, emphasize Dunk's reaction to Tenzil. That here is another girl that he is far to be attracted to, and she starts to get abused by a man overpowering her, and he saw that past. He loved that girl, and she got murdered in front of his eyes, and so Dunk seeing red and just charging in. I feel that like the flashback helped contextualize and make that scene even more justified.
That works. To what Litiv was saying in the comic, once again you can see here when after Dunk first of all tells him to, he's like, do you relent or whatever, however you say it, and do you yield, and he makes him yield, right? And then he looks around at all the carnage that's still happening, all these people still fighting. Little bastard reaches for his mace. In the comic.
Yeah.
And then Dunk steps on him, and then drags him.
Oh, he drags him. That was pretty badass. He's like one-handed, drags this prince, this arrogant asshole prince across the mud by his leg like a dog, and he's like, "Come here, say it, say it, bitch."
That was great. It was a great moment, but man, it would have been good if they did show that, reaching for the mace moment to show that this guy is a slimy piece of crap, and that he will say he yields, but still, if he can get a cheap shot to kill Dunk, he would.
Right.
It was very satisfying seeing Dunk bash him with the shield and punch him in the face a few times.
With his gauntlet, dude, bashing him in the face with his gauntlet, that would mess someone's face up so
and his mouth
bad.
looks so messed up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like beyond knocking out teeth, like genuinely, have you ever seen what brass knuckles can do to people? I get cuts, rips, and then think about a full gauntlet. That's vicious
with Dunk's fist in it.
With Dunk's fist.
Dunk the tank.
Yeah, Dunk is a huge guy, very strong. So it's probably like getting hit in the face with hammers at that point.
I genuinely, because the guy's visor was open at the same time. And I echo what you're saying, Dev, about that moment when he just drags him through the mud. what are like a you know, what's the word, like demoralizing or final insult to the guy where he's just getting dragged by this hedge knight.
It was awesome. It was like this giant prince getting this great prince, the member of the royal family, getting dragged through the mud by this nobody, this hedge knight.
Yeah, and by this hedge knight, everyone like is a tank beyond tanks. The amount of punishment that he receives and still keeps going. The only one that I question is the lance hit, but everything else, I mean, he takes a couple of flail hits to the head, but a helmet can protect it. A helmet can protect you against a heck of a lot, and especially if you have proper padding underneath. I'm like, okay, that's borderline, but okay. And a Dunk's, he's ringing from those hits. The only like nitpick, and this is me being ultra nitpicky, right? I can tell that his helmet is only like 1 mil thick LARP grade steel. It's performance, you know, stage grade stuff, which it's a prop. Okay, I get it, because when you handle a real helmet, when it's got the right thickness, it has a weight that you can actually tell by just someone holding it. So like the actual inertia of you moving this thing around.
They should have had a heavier one, at least for the close-ups.
You reckon? Yeah, because the actual weight of a real helmet is actually twice, if not 3 times more than a LARP grade helmet, because it's more than double the thickness of steel. And so you literally can see it when people are moving it around. And his helmet, just like even the small rocking as he puts it on and stuff, I can see that's a thin helmet. And that type of helmet, I know, ultra nitpicky, no one is going to care about this apart from, you know, medieval authors like me. But that type of helmet, if you get hit by a mace or a big flail with that type of helmet, you're dead. You're not surviving from it with it. But if it's proper thickness, you could survive it. And then his armor is saving himself from so much. And then that moment where Dunk, like he basically falls unconscious and he looks dead. Okay. That's justified from how much punishment he's taking. And it just brings a really powerful moment when Egg is screaming, "Get up." And he sees Arlan in the flashback saying, "Get up." And then the crowd are all behind him at this point.
And that's the swap, right? From missing the line in the last show to the whole audience backing him up.
Yeah,
that was so awesome, because at the beginning before the fight, everyone's making fun of yeah, you're an asshole, like this guy farts and stuff like that. Like they don't want to think anything of Dunk. And then by that time, everyone's like, "Get up!" Everyone's cheering for Dunk, like, "Get up, Dunk, Dunk!" Like they're cheering for him, because like that's how powerful being a good person, being earnest, even in battle, kind of it just inspires people. It's just that happens in real life too. And I'm pretty sure it happened with everyone watching, even if they didn't like Dunk, like, "Dunk, get up, Dunk," because they wanted to win. They like the passion and the earnestness that he has as a person is like they want him. It's just hard to root against the guy. It really is.
And also when you're watching someone who is just not giving up amongst all near insurmountable, you know, pain and resistance, and they just keep going. Yeah, that wins people over, and it gets them onto their side, because people, you know, well, they start to imprint like holy crap, I think I would have given up by now. And this guy, and it wins their admiration and respect. And then the fact that you have Egg, and also, so the woman in the crowd, she was one of the prostitutes that Dunk actually, she was mocking him at first, but Dunk had won her over just by being a nice person and just by being real with her, saying, "Look, you don't need to mock me. All right, I'm just trying to do the right thing." And then you see her soften, and then she decides to help him. And so she is the one that jumps in the crowd when no one else does. And she is Dunk in one of the moments in the fight. And then with Egg cheering him on, the crowd then get behind him in that moment when he is getting up, and the crowd rises and you hear them cheering, "Up, up."
And they want him to win. Yeah, get up, Dunk.
It's a powerful moment that like you really feel the emotion when you're watching this. And this is like in that moment, I'm like, this is cinema, you know, this is what like entertainment can do when you have a proper story that's founded on real values, real.
And did you go on Twitter after the show?
I've seen people.
Nobody was talking about anything else. Like my entire homepage was like, it was like 1 out of 20 posts was not about Dunk.
Yeah, like this is really gaining a lot of momentum, as it should. It's a great story.
It's a perfect mixture of what we want. Like we want traditional heroism. We want the good guy to kind of win. I mean, not easily win and not be perfect. He doesn't be perfect by any means, but he like struggles and he gets through everything. He just comes in with like nothing but his artist heart and his hopes and dreams. And he enters the world of Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. He enters the world of Game of Thrones is this harsh, brutal, not unforgiving world of Westeros, and it goes through brutalities and he goes through pain, he goes through suffering, he goes through loss, but then he also wins because of his earnestness and this will to fight, this really strong will to fight. And I think it's a good mix. I think it's a good mix.
It's a great mix. Like, there's a reason why The Hedge Knight has been, one of my favorite graphic novels, because the story is brilliant. And I always knew if they properly adapted this story, people are going to love it. It'll be huge. And especially like when I say properly adapted, I'm talking about not only the story, but do the combat right, do the medieval elements right, and everything like that. And this would be one of my favorite shows ever. And shock horror, it is, in spite of some of the annoyances, admittedly, it is still one of my favorite shows because it has just genuine and traditional virtue. And when Mike was saying seeing this blow up on Twitter, one of the most common things I'm seeing on Twitter are people praising that, hey, look, it's a traditional heroism. This is masculine. This is just like, one tweet was just like, this is just a show of white dudes wailing on each other, picking butt and being men. And it's like, people are loving it.
Love it. And it's been like 10 years trying to instill in us that cynical storytelling was here, and that dark, brooding characters were the way forward. They're morally gray sludge. This slopped onto your cafeteria plate was the way to go. This was the next step in storytelling, the new evolution, and we're going to bring them back to noble heroes.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of the Steve Rogers moment of I could do this all day.
Yeah, Steve Rogers. People love Steve Rogers for that. Yeah. He's just a good guy who kind of this thoughtlessly put himself on the line for other people. Was to take the more difficult road because it's the right road to take. That's what we kind of want to see. We kind of want to see that. And we don't, and everything else can be dark and grim, but the main character, we kind of want our heroes to be heroes at the end of the day.
Captain Westeros.
It pretty much. I kind of equated him to Superman because of how invincible he is. He says how much HP he has in the fight. This guy, and then he's dragging the guy through the mud. It's like this guy's like Superman. He's like the Superman of fantasy. But one thing that was interesting, and I was surprised it didn't go the route of betrayal, was the flashback. So like when they thought when they were like getting money and stealing stuff to get money to get out of there and go somewhere else. The guy gives them 2 coins, and they go, okay, we got enough to go. We can use this money to get out of here. And then, they had that moment of like, no, I love you. And well, I love you too, don't I? And they like, it solidifies that they are deeply connected to each other. And then we go to the I guess the ferryman or something. And he's like, we want 2 rides out of this place. And he's like, it didn't say, it didn't say you can't afford it. It says the price is doubled. Mm-hmm. So what my thought was that, is she going to they're going to go home and then she's going to sneak out with the money and then she's going to leave without him, despite the fact that they care about each other. Like, she just cares about going out there so much. And Dunk is like, wants to stay there. Like, this in case when my mother comes back or whatever. And I was like, is she going to betray him and leave without him? That'd be very Game of Thrones. But no, it takes a whole different route. They don't get a chance to do that.
That's why I didn't link the romantic thing about it, because the whole conversation prior to them saying they love each other was about family and choosing your own family. And
I don't think it was like it was like family love, but I think
I don't think it diminishes your point either.
Yeah, and I think it probably would have grown into romantic love, but they're 2 very young kids in reality, and so it's like a puppy love kind of family love at that point. But the thing is also, just because now we're on the flashback a bit about this female character Rafe, right? There were concerns people had about her being so assertive, telling Dunk that this is what they need to do, and she's kind of leading and stuff. And then she gets killed.
Okay, this is back to just a practical reality. Dunk is a beta male.
Well, I think
Dunk
is
as big as he is and everything. He slouches. It's because he tries to reduce himself. He is not the assertive type.
But he becomes assertive through the story.
I know, but this is the point. His girlfriend or best friend, by natural, would be the assertive one.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, especially
that's the way relationships work. You find, it's usually not too little.
Opposites attract. Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with that. And also the fact that, like, if people want to look at Rafe as like a girl boss, well, this kind of subverts the girl boss trope, because, like, if a girl tries to push their weight around in reality, and they push their weight around against a man,
they'll get killed.
In reality, like, if it's a bad man,
they're gonna find out.
Use his strength and slap them down. That's the unfortunate reality about life, and that's exactly what happens.
It wasn't even a clean romantic kill. It was like he slit her throat, like right there, and she just gurgled and died. And it was like just terrifying.
Poor Dunk. But like, she also, like, this is a guy that she is so, I'm in charge of everything. And kind of cocky and stuff, that she can't realize this guy could kill her in a second flat without even trying.
And Dunk warned her.
Yeah, Dunk was trying to tell her, like, don't push this, right? But because she is so, like, cocksure of herself, and she's arrogant, and she also is annoyed that this guy is, rightfully annoyed that this guy's abusing her. But then the fact that when he steals from her, she then steals his knife, not thinking about the consequences. And if you think that sometimes people act without thinking about the consequences, they do, right? And so that was her thing. Well, you took my money, I'm just going to take your knife, not thinking about it. The guy realizes her, like, in a couple of seconds, runs back down her, grabs the knife, and just kills her straight away. And so this very much was an actual narrative kind of thing, showing that here is a girl boss who girl bossed too close to the sun and found out.
No hesitation either. It wasn't like no last words, like no, you steal from me, I'm gonna kill you. It's like, you still, like, don't do that. There's no last words to, like, emphasize his dominance or to give her a chance to think. It just straight up walks over there, slit her throat. And Doug's like, no, it's just too late.
One of those videos you see on like Reels or whatever all the time, when some girl's just slapping some dude and he just, like, bam, throws her across the room in one hit.
That's the unfortunate, that, like, this scene speaks to more real truth than you might realize.
Yeah.
But in real life, there are women who don't understand the disparity of strength between men and women, and they think that they can be constantly protected by the social restrictions that men are taught to adhere to. Never hit a woman, which is a good thing. But the thing is, there are bad men in the world who will not obey that. And when a woman pushes their weight around and comes against one of these guys who is not restraining his strength appropriately, they get injured, they get laid out. And it's a tragedy that happens, but it's also a result of arrogance, where they think that they're not understanding what the real world is like.
Plus, it was very obvious that bad guy was like cock of the roost in that little place. If it wasn't for Sir Arlan, he would have gotten away with it with no consequence.
Easily. Well, he was part of the what gold cloaks are they called? The city guard, essentially. And so he has even the judicial authority as a type of law keeper. And you know what he said? She was a thief. Yeah. And and then his boss was like, "Yep, okay." That's the horrible reality of what that situation is. And so this flashback is actually, like, I liked it, and especially Arlan. Like, the fight scene of Arlan is probably the unsung kind of hero of the episode. It's not as big as the big one, which really wows you, but it's a great little fight scene of where Arlan is drunk, right? And
old, like, drunken man.
When he tried to, draw his sword, but even drunk, he has more control over his sword than these, like, untrained, gold cloak, like, just random town's guardsmen, and they actually hit a really good balance, and I can't wait to rewatch it, because from my memory is like Arlan is wobbling around, but his control is like still fighting, right?
Like a drunken master.
Yeah, like a drunken master. He is still a trained knight, maybe not the best knight, but he knows how to use his sword, and as a result, even though he's getting knocked around, he takes off one of the guy's heads pretty quickly.
That was awesome. Like, just with clean decapitation is boom. Wow, it's like this. He immediately took one guy out.
Yeah,
like almost immediately. It was pretty awesome.
Swords can do that. Like people don't realize how deadly swords really are, just because like they can't compete against guns. But without guns, swords, their ability.
Hey, they ruled the world for 6,000 years.
Their ability to kill someone in just a few seconds, that is shocking force multiplication. Okay, swords are really deadly. And yeah, this show doesn't hesitate, like decapitation straight off. And then yeah, the ensuing fight scene was just a great little fight scene showing Arlan, where it's just like he's protecting the weak. Yeah, and he's a knight that's following his vows, and you can really see why Dunk then latches onto him.
That's like Dunk's first introduction to Arlan was Arlan putting his life on the line to protect two kids he had no business doing. He didn't know these kids, he didn't know the guys. He just knew that two kids were in trouble and he had to go help them. And that's at the heart, no matter what Arlan might have been, deep down, this Arlan is a really good fighter and a honorable knight at the end of the day.
And also, like, think about how much of an impact that would have on Dunk. Dunk's probably never had any true kindness. Anyone put their, life on the line for him at any point. And when it really mattered, when he was about to get killed, is random, frumpy knight jumps in and saves his life. And that stands out in the world of Westeros. Here is a guy that's actually going to do the right
who remembered his vows.
That is right.
Yeah. Also, there you go. Also, I mean, to go back to all the information you don't understand in the little Dunk following him scene and Roger dying and all that stuff. That's all just such great fodder for like after show commentary, like between like the folks who haven't read the books, the folks who have, and like what do people call it? It's like theory lore or whatever, where you talk about all these theories about stuff about the book, because they're not spelling everything out for you like you're an idiot.
I mean, this show has single-handedly reignited the theory crafting kind of culture around Game of Thrones. It had died. Like the last season of Game of Thrones, and the fact that George hasn't finished the book has been so powerfully killing off of the interest in the franchise. And then Night of the Seven Kingdoms comes along, and it's reigniting everything. People are like speculating who Dunk's descendants are in Game of Thrones and what is his final, ultimate end. And then
I think that little whoopsie daisy,
which I love. I thought that was so good. And that's been my headcanon. Like I'm a romantic. I want my heroes to ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after. And Dunk,
it makes me wonder, because I know Brienne is a descendant of Dunk, but now it's making me wonder if Brienne is Dunk's daughter, and her husband.
Wow,
her father is actually,
he would have had to have fathered her very late into his life.
Sure. Well, Tony Randall had babies at 88.
I mean, it's possible. It's actually possible. But like, do we know who the Mountains, parentage is? I don't know. Like it's just
that would make sense. If the Dunk's son is the Mountain, like man,
or grandson,
not really. You're not really cutting the same kind of guy here. The Mountain's pure evil.
The Mountain's father or parents were pretty scummy, because the other guys has the scar on the face. So wasn't that from a parent or dad? Oh no, that was from his brother.
That was from his brother.
The Hound got his face deformed by his brother, the Mountain. So
the Mountain, yeah.
So one thing that's kind of interesting that I did also like was the fact that what was it? I forgot. I'm trying to remember what it was.
If it comes back, just interrupt. But yeah, the theory crafting is now reignited, and so there's people speculating there's a character called Cold Hands in the Song of Ice and Fire series. They think that might be Dunk now, and all this stuff where, this is such a good show that it's reignited passion in the world.
Well, that could make sense because Old Nan is theorized to be the Red Widow from the Sworn Sword.
Okay.
But I remember now. It was the fact that when Lionel wants Dunk to knight a guy, because a knight can make a knight. Dunk hesitates, and he's like, honorably, I don't think I can do this. Like he knows, because he knows like he's probably not really a knight.
Well, all right. This is my interpretation, and again, I'm probably pushing it too far because this is kind of what I want to have happened, where I want Arlan to have actually knighted Dunk, but after Dunk is about to, he's hesitating to knight, but then is called to the stand, and Lionel says, "I will do it for you." And as he walks to the stand, he looks up, and he has a flashback of Sir Arlan looking down at him, and the scene really makes it feel like this was Dunk kneeling before Arlan when Arlan was knighting him. But Arlan, he kind of shrugs, he kind of like this, and so my theory is that Arlan didn't know the words and just like, I knight you for whatever. Sorry, Dunk, it's best I could do kind of thing. I can't remember. And when Dunk was hesitating, it wasn't because he wasn't actually knighted. It's because he wasn't knighted properly and he didn't know how to say the correct words.
No, Dunk wasn't knighted.
I reckon. Now, look.
I'm pretty sure I remember George specifically telling me Dunk was not knighted.
Oh, hang on. What? What? Did George tell you that?
I think so. I think I remember that because that's always been my understanding.
Well, see, I'm also okay with it. And Ryan had a good interpretation of Dunk not being knighted because he felt it was poetic that the character that embodies the most correct, form of knighthood in the entire realm is the one knight that wasn't knighted. Right. And which is kind of the saying that any man that lives up to these ideals is worthy of being a knight.
Well, it also plays in directly with the Florian the Fool that Tansel was talking about. All men are knights.
Yeah.
And all men are fools.
All men are knights if he breathes.
But there's a good message there, is that knighthood is more about how you act, your actions and nobility and your strength over, a mere title. Knighthood is more about what you do. And if you adhere to the principle, now, this is a romanticized form of knighthood for this world, which it fits in. And if you adhere to those ideals of knighthood, you are a knight. And there is a good kind of message about manhood and masculinity in that. Historically, there was never a codified, this is exactly what chivalry is, but there was a general kind of interpretation and understanding amongst the people of different lands and cultures of what chivalry was. And what's really interesting when you look into the history of chivalry, it is more often what people wanted their knights to do. And so what you find is the notions of chivalry that are proclaimed from the clergy is very much loyalty to the church and their faith in God and stuff like that. And the notions of chivalry that come from commoners and the romanticized poetry and stuff is about protecting the weak and innocent. And the notions of chivalry that come from the nobility and stuff is about honor, duty, and loyalty. And if you're not loyal, you are not a chivalrous knight. And so chivalry actually had multiple kind of interpretations and definitions based on region, social class, and time period. Because chivalry in its original form simply meant horsemanship. And if you were, because chevalier literally is French for horseman. And so if you were chivalrous, you were good at being a horseman. And so literally the term evolved. And the underlining kind of definition is chivalry in a medieval context is those qualities that make a knight good at their job. But what those qualities were varied between time, period, location, social class, and all of that. So it's a very interesting and dynamic thing, but there definitely was a romanticized kind of ideal of chivalry that was promoted at different times, but it was never kind of like enforced as this is the code of chivalry kind of thing. But
also in Westeros, honestly, if any knight can make a knight, you've seen the state of knighthood in Westeros, so it really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. But unless
it's like saying any prick can make a prick.
Yeah, I know.
But
to Ireland and Dunk, it means something. And it works so well in their world because in the world, they literally do have a code that they're knighted to, which is like, in the name of the mother, you will do this. In the name of the father, you will do this. And literally in the code is to protect the innocent. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I kind of like that. And it speaks to the more romanticized, ideal of the code of chivalry. But historically, there was never an official code, except that some orders had codes. Some orders had like more structures, but they couldn't enforce it. Different, people, different regions interpreted chivalry differently. But chivalry was a very prominent thing still. Very prominent. And there was an expectation that knights should be chivalrous, according to many versions and views.
One thing I did like about this whole beginning discussion about Dunk and not being knighted was, I know it was an issue brought up, like, oh, he's supposed to be honest and true, but his whole adventure is built on a lie. And I think that's kind of like part of the fact that he's not perfect. He's just a regular guy who happens to be a good person. Like, okay, well, I was supposed to be knighted. I'm assuming he wanted to be knighted, and I was a squire, so also there's a fact that, okay, if I'm knighted, I have more stuff I can do. I have more ability. But then later on, it comes back to bite him, not by any sort of punishment, but because of his morals. And that's kind of why I thought that when that guy kneeled before him and he was going to knight this guy, he just couldn't do it because he didn't know how.
Yeah, or he died. Yeah.
The second of all, was like, I can't do it. If I knight you, it's not going to be real because I'm not a knight, and I shouldn't do this because I know deep down I have never been knighted by Arlan. Arlan didn't knight me.
There's another angle to Arlan's blowing off wanting to knight Dunk, is that Arlan is a knight who remembers his vows, right? But he's an old man who has seen the entire world of Westeros full of knights for whom knighthood means nothing, right? And so it's like when Dunk says, I want to be a knight, Arlan probably looks around the world and is like, I hate that I'm a knight. Why would, you don't want to be a knight, kid. You want to be a good person.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I feel like Arlan does believe in knighthood because he yelled, like that scene, in the name of the brother, leave that.
I think he believes in the vows.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But, that's not the same thing, is it? Possibly.
But I love the romanticized kind of appeal to a noble code that you want to live.
It's kind of like me saying I will never join the Republican Party. But I know what the point. I mean, the people who say they believe in the things that I believe in because I'm conservative, but I know what a Republican is. Yeah.
Well, Dunk, he is doing good. Again, the story is Dunk reminding people what knighthood is and shaming people who aren't living up to it, and that's really the impetus that triggers Baylor to help him out. And it's like, he was doing what a knight must, what we all must, basically. He was protecting the innocent, brother. And so he is a man who also wants to live up to those ideals. And what a friggin' great episode. Absolutely brilliant. This is the best show on TV at the moment. And now we have one more episode to go, and it's all going to be the fallout. It's all going to be discussion and fallout.
Yeah, I think they're going to expand, because on the funeral is like a page in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they're going to make. You remember? Did you ever watch Vikings?
Only parts.
When Lagatha, which is like a key character, the key female character, her funeral episode was like the entire episode of her funeral. So I think they're going to stretch out the funeral scene from like what should have been like 30 seconds to like 10 minutes.
Well, there could be a lot of flashbacks. There could be conversations between Dunk and Egg. I think there's a conversation between Dunk and Egg's father. I forget his name, but his Makar at the funeral. They might actually separate.
No, that's not at the funeral. That's long after when Dunk's leaving.
No, it's. Oh yeah, you're right. Here, okay, so that's definitely going to be its own scene then. And I, like I said, I think they could put in a couple more flashbacks as well. Maybe they could address the whole knighting thing, or no, they want to keep that ambiguous. But there's opportunity. Like, what does he say to? Because there's things in the graphic novel we don't get. Like, what does he say to the Fossway? Is it which Fossway? It's
Raymond.
Raymond.
Well, I mean, look, they expanded a 30-second fight scene to 10 minutes. I'm sure they'll do.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity. There's conversations he can have to Raymond, to Lionel Baratheon, even Steely Pate, perhaps. this would just be a fun opportunity to give even more kind of closure and rounding up to the implications, because what has happened in this episode affects everything entirely. So I can't wait, and we will get to talk about the next episode next week. But that's kind of all the discussion, I guess. And was there anything else that you gentlemen wanted to mention about episode 5 of Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
Not specifically, but if you can tell, I've been filling in blacks on these pages from that episode. So I did the Hedge Knight as production work, right? So I did it just like I drew everything in line work, and then when you have little areas that need to be black, you just drop an X in there, and then you send it to the inker, and the inker colors that. I sent the digital files to the inker, so he just inked it, filled in all those spots. But now that I'm actually selling these pages after 23 years of holding on to them, I'm going through and I'm actually filling in the black spots with the with the black. So it looks more like it looks more like this, right? So you get the full.
Yeah, that's great.
Blackening, and it will present better.
Yeah.
So actually, if Gary wants to send that page back to me and have me do this, I'd be happy.
I think he wants to frame that thing. He's happy. He loves it as is as well.
Yeah.
In its original kind of state. But that looks great.
I think he liked the idea of getting George's favorite page.
Yeah. As if you're familiar with what George thinks of Gary, it's just like,
oh no, I've never heard.
Oh, well, Gary has been critical of George because George hasn't finished the books. And he has a story of when he was on the set of the Orville and George was there. And George shook everyone's hand. And when he came to Gary, he noticeably skipped Gary and went to the next person.
Oh, man. George is not happy about all. I mean, it's clearly annoying him. He's getting tons and tons of reminders. I think he did a blog post where he's like, "I know I'm supposed to be working on the books, but I have this other thing. Okay, shut up." That's kind of what he said on his blog post. Yeah. He's like, "I know how to do this. I gotta do this the other thing. I can't work on anything else, but I did." So there. That's kind of the attitude of his last blog post.
Yeah.
So he's clearly.
I know everybody has their own opinions on that, but I'm always going to defend him.
Well, at least
George is a super loyal guy, so I'm going to be loyal back.
Well, at least it made a bunch of series. I understand his plight and his aggravation. This is he's way better off, I think, than like a Patrick Rothfuss, who hasn't even completed his first series yet.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
12 years.
Did you see that video of like the pizza guy coming to his house?
Yeah.
That's great. Like freaking pizza guy. Getting A-log by the pizza guy.
And those books are so damn good. It's so annoying. It's like,
they are good, but not as good on a second reading. I found
not as good.
Not as good on a second reading. Because his writing is very much what happens next, if now then what kind of thing, and it progresses that way, which is really kind of dynamic on a first reading because you like something new. But on the second reading, when you're very familiar with his like methods and themes, certain things just drag, but it's still good. Don't get me wrong, I still love Kingkiller Chronicles. Yeah, but he hasn't got that last book. It's like taking ages.
And worse, there's some controversy about his last book where he sold it to like a publisher and exclusive rights to the publisher, but he never finished the book, so they paid him a bunch of money, or they went out of business or something like that. He was like, there's a bunch of, and then he raised money to release like a chapter or something like that of his new book, raised money and surpassed it. That never came to fruition.
Oh, dude.
And it's not like, George at the very least has a whole bunch of TV shows and stuff to work on. What the hell was Patrick Rothfuss doing? Playing video games?
Excuse me, he's busy playing Minecraft.
Oh my gosh.
Complaining about Trump.
Yeah, he's got
major TDS.
Gentlemen, it is time to talk about the bane of Hollywood, the harbinger of their destruction. Oh boy. So they have already been worried about AI video. When Sora released, there was people freaking out. Like one Hollywood, some person stopped plans on building a massive kind of production studio because of what Sora was kind of indicating. Because of the quality of what it was producing. And this is like, what, a year or two ago or something?
I think it was less than a year ago.
Gee, it might be. I can't remember when the Sora.
It's progressing so fast, dude. I think within 5 years, you can just go script to screen.
No joke. Like, so what has happened since that time? AI has been progressing, and there's been okay, it's still very, very fast, but something now has happened. A new model just dropped called C-Dance.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And no joke, it is one of the most crazy things. It is doing stuff that I did not think it would be capable of for another 2 to 5 years. And I'm going to show some examples. Not only the thing that has really blown people away is its ability to do action and movement so much better.
Conflict.
Fighting. Yeah. Like this is like shocking. And so there are several viral videos that I want to go through, break down and talk about, because it is actually crazy. So this is one of the very viral ones. And it is a scene of Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise. And so now, is the audio on? I can't remember if So already that felt like it had weight. The music timed the impact, and this shot here that we're looking at, I would not be able to tell if it's AI. Like look, it's not super high resolution. Okay, so that might be helping out a bit. But if I just saw this, I'd be like, hey, Tom Cruise, There are critics saying this is nowhere near as good as like a real choreographed fight scene.
No, but here's the thing. If you ran this scene with the same prompt 6 times, right? And then you just edited it. You could edit this scene with several different, camera angles and whatnot to make it look freaking perfect.
But not only that, like to the layperson, I don't think they can tell the difference. And if you think this isn't as good as the best choreographed fight scenes in Hollywood, maybe that there's validity. But I can tell you right now, it is a hell of a lot better than some of the worst Hollywood fight scenes I've seen. And when I say worst, I'm talking about in large Hollywood productions, some absolute dog crap fight scenes, okay, that this is orders of magnitude better. And then the other most scary implication of all of this to Hollywood, this took a few seconds to generate. Yeah. Whereas to produce something of comparable quality the traditional way, you're talking at least like weeks to a month, right?
Yep.
Like just learning the movements. And by the way, this isn't bad. People are saying, oh, it's AI trash. It's like, no, compared to what Hollywood has made before, this is throwing hands. And this is actually, I would say, good, in the good realm of fast pace, quick fight, hitting the impact, the music playing. Like this actually is not a bad fight scene. It might not be the very best of what humans have been able to make, but as soon as you get someone who knows how to construct the best fight scenes ever with these tools, they're going to make equivalent.
Put this into like Guy Ritchie's hands.
Right. But not only that. Oh man, I need.
Yeah, I mean, if I learn how to do this, there's a whole bunch of AI slop ideas I have. Like I want to see John Wick fight Jason Bourne or something. That's kind of set up. I already made like an AI image of like John Wick drinking with Jacket from Hotline Miami, Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid. Like they're all just drinking the Continental. Like I'm ready. I want to bring this to life.
I need to show you some of the things that this can do, because people only think that, oh, this is just put in a prompt and spit out. No. It can do so much more. And so when people think, oh, like it doesn't have the capacity to choreograph something incredibly good.
No way.
All right. Well, watch what it can do here. So this is a. Let me. I need to stop sharing and reshare something. So this is from an AI YouTube channel that goes through many of the things that Seed Dance can do, and so in terms of creating a fight scene. Is the audio on?
Do you have the one with the girl shooting the aliens?
Well, this is what this guy got out of Seed Dance by giving 2 reference characters, and this one, like, it's a sword fight scene, which, you know, it's a bit janky. Like, some of the swords aren't actually connecting here, but from the leap up of what, you know, AI video was, this is still a huge improvement. And you see the 2 reference characters that he used over here. It took those reference characters. Okay, so people might think
it's better than Obi-Wan versus.
Well, this is not only what this can do. Check out what he does next.
Take this a step further. Instead of just uploading a background, if you're in 3D animation, then this is going to be a game changer for you. You can design a scene first in your 3D studio.
So you can choreograph.
So this gives you
a fight scene that has all the angles and dynamic action you want.
Absolute control over how you want the characters to move and how you want the camera to move as well. Well, I can just input the scene into Seed Dance and then also input the same 2 characters as before. And then for the prompt, let's write something like a fight between. And then I can also type the @ symbol to select the characters. So let's select this one and then this one. And then I'm going to write, they are fighting in a forest. Use the motion of the reference 3D video. And just to make sure it's actually following the movements exactly, I'm also going to write, use the camera movement in the 3D video as well. And then this time, let's just set it to 13 seconds because my reference video here is around 13 seconds. And then let's press generate. All right, here's what I got from that.
Okay. This is insane. This is insane. Okay. This is absolutely crazy. And do you know how much time this would save animators and stuff from rendering the animations that they choreograph into the final form? This has duplicated the choreography near perfectly. This is beyond crazy. Okay, like I did not think AI would be capable of doing something like this. I've got that one bookmarked as well.
People are gonna just steal fight choreography from old Chinese kung fu movies.
No joke.
I mean, that's awesome. I would do that. I wouldn't sell it. I'd make some AI slop for fun, but absolutely.
No, you know, they do that. You take a thing like that and you say, like, turn this into a Naruto style anime fight scene, and it'll just animate it.
No, Mike, it is doing things that I did not think it would be capable of for 10 years. Have a look at this, okay? This is a manga panel that has the kind of script and dialogue and everything. They simply fed this to Seed Dance, and with a prompt, and this is what it made.
That's really good.
Shockingly so. It is turning.
All right. Stick Lone Star.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, no joke. No joke. Like Lone Star, Shadow the Choreographic Novel. Like, what the hell? It can understand context and progression and the dialogue from a comic book page and turn it into animation from just that.
I want.
What the hell? No joke. What the hell? This is crazy. Oh my!
I want
God.
right now. I want to make all of Lone Star into a movie right now.
I want to start generating AI slop today.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be capable of doing something like that for years yet, and it's here. What the heck?
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, this lets you know I had a question for both of you concerning medieval like fantasy stuff, but we can wait till later.
Okay. Because there are so many examples of what this has been making that is causing people to freak out. Now, on the anime thing, there are two big, I guess, things that this will cause, right? It is going to enable nearly anyone to make an anime or an animation with like I could turn my graphic novel and Mike's graphic novel, and then Mike has his stuff, and not Lit Dev, you have your graphic novels. We can turn them into animations.
Doing that right now.
Where we would like, I'm not sure I would have ever been able to do that, have the budget or means to produce something like that ever. And this is enabling me to bring my artistic vision into a form of like expression I would never have the means to do it. And this is why when people say it's all soulless and it doesn't have the human element, well, hang on. What we just saw, that, that manga panel, that literally is someone's expression of art. That is human made. Okay. That is there. That has heart and soul in it, and turning it into an actual animation. You're saying it now doesn't have that heart and soul? That's retarded.
Right, and imagine this also, instead of you as an artist giving up your control to a studio who's going to adapt your project,
yes,
you as the artist get to control what the output of your project is.
Yes. Like, as an artist, this is friggin' incredible. Like, no joke. And I think it'll get to a point where it can do this based on just a story. I think I would be able to input my novel into an AI thing, and it will understand the entire thing and spit out 15. When I say 15 seconds, there's already rumors that the next iteration of this is up to like minutes. That the extension rate is crazy. And the AI large language models, their context understanding windows are now crazy. Like at last year, one of the biggest things about Claude AI is that it had a contextual understanding window of 200,000 tokens. And so that's like maybe 150,000 words, but 200,000 like numbers of code and things like that. And that was huge. You want to know what the context window is up to now? 1 million. And that's like 700,000 words. My novel I'm writing is reaching like 240,000 words. It can comprehend and analyze the entire thing in totality. I can't believe the rate of this technological growth. And I'm not saying it's not going to bring bad things. I think it's going to bring really great opportunities, but there's going to have detrimental effects. And AI, I feel, has the power to bring about near utopian levels of artistic expression, stuff like that, or the apocalypse. I'm literally not saying it might, there's nothing to fear about AI. I'm saying it could actually bring about the apocalypse or the utopia. And the determining thing that will determine one or the other will be how we use it, how we as people, the human race, use it. And if we cannot use it right, it could destroy us. But if we can use it right, it can be one of the most powerful things in human history. So we're going to find out, because this AI model, it comes from China. Now, as remarkable as this AI model is, the fact that it's coming from a Chinese company is a bit of a concern. China is not a good government. People, there's a lot of great people there, but as a country, China is awful. Okay. And there's like a technological arms race going on at the moment with AI between China and the US. And if the US puts so many restrictions on AI development, that's only going to give the bag to China. And if China wins this AI race, that's a bit of a problem. Because I don't know where this will ultimately reach. Like it could plateau, or we could get the full-blown, what do they call it? The singularity, like the artificial mega intelligence. Chad is the theocrats call it the singularity, where a mega intelligence might be developed that can like brute force and get behind any code, any digital system completely and give complete dominance. And so I don't know. Like I just don't know. Like that might be a possibility, and that's a concern. But on a base level, if AI technology like stopped where it's at now, I think we would still be trying to deal with the world-changing effects it is already causing for 10 years before we finally kind of adapt to it. But we don't even have that. Like already it's world-changing, and it's still improving in ways that we did not expect. And it's just like, holy
I expected
crap.
it
This fast? I wasn't expecting it this fast.
I expect it's the development is what's that word?
Exponential?
Yeah, exponential. Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying, dude. It won't. I say 5 years, but it'll be way less than 5 years before you can just go script to screen.
No joke. And I don't know if my
novels what's worse is that you'll also be able to just prompt a script.
Well, I'm interested because even now, AI writing needs a talented writer to know what it puts out, if it's good or bad. And so this is another thing that's
a problem, Shad, because you also need a talented audience to know what's good or bad. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. See, I think most people do have a subconscious kind of instinct
if that was true, Michael Bay would not be a thing.
Yes, but no one thinks Michael Bay Transformers is better than Lord of the Rings. Who honestly thinks that?
Which one made more money?
I don't know, actually. So don't get me wrong. I fully agree. People do consume slop, and they will consume a lot of it. But when it's flooded with endless slop of any random person being able to make anything, what'll end up happening is people just going to make their own thing, I think. And then the very best, the actual Lord of the Rings.
What's going to happen is people are going to be, I want thing like other thing. So you'll have, I like Lord of the Rings. Can I have Lord of the Rings meets Harry Potter, please? They're going to squirt it out, and then a bunch of idiots are going to be like, this is the best thing since Lord of the Rings, man. It's Harry Potter. It's like,
but I'm up to you there. I'm that guy until this is the best things with the ring. Now it's not gonna be that good, but it will be awesome, and that's exactly what I plan to do. Okay, I'm gonna get John Wick fight this guy. How many guys can I have John Wick fight? Like, can he fight the guy from
John Wick versus 100 gorillas?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Like, what was the other one? This Sisu. I want him to fight the guy from Sisu. That'd be pretty cool.
But here's the thing:
the second Sisu.
If that's what people want,
it's good. It's really good.
No, if that's what these people want, and they think it's the best thing since Lord of the Rings, they get something catered exactly to their tastes. And it might be slop to everyone else, but if that's genuinely what they love, I kind of love that AI is enabling people to get the most specific kind of structure of story or anything that they want. I think that's an awesome thing.
You know where this heads, Shad? Wall-E. Wall-E.
What? Wall-E? Oh, Wall-E. Maybe, and that's I've expressed my concerns about over indulgence in removing yourself from reality and AI girlfriends and all that stuff. And then I guess I come back to my individualist side of myself. People need to self-regulate and choose how much. Same with video games. You need to not overdo it with video games, and people have literally starved to death from playing too many video games. And that's, they're being irresponsible, and people need to be taught to be responsible at how they use technology. But some people will fail and let it abuse themselves with it, and other people will actually have a measured use of it. And because some people abuse it, that should not be ground to take away the right of the people who are going to use it responsibly. That's the whole gun control debate thing that comes into play. There will be bad applications of AI, and there will be endless amounts of slop. I'm not going to consume the slop. And just because the slop is out there, that's not going to stop me from trying to make the best art I can with AI tools. And even though there'll be so much slop, I do think there will be genuinely brilliant stuff made with AI. And if it's genuinely brilliant, people will share it. They will tell other people about it. And there will be the next Lord of the Rings that will rise to the surface amidst a myriad of mediocre stuff that everyone is just making for themselves. And if they want to make it for themselves and they like it, that's also like good for them, you know?
You know what it's going to create is a whole bunch of content that you know, when they measure it out, it's like, oh, which one gets the most views, just like any kind of social media. It's going to be the stuff with a bunch of straight people doing heroic things as opposed to
well,
like
it breaks
gay.
It breaks the Hollywood control over our entertainment, and that is a good thing. And some of the stuff,
you know, it's like it hurts because like I watch. I just got Apple TV, and it's like so much of the stuff on Apple TV is so well written, but like 90% of it, just like Netflix, freaking throws a bunch of gay crap in it.
Well, guess what? With AI, gay people will be able to make their gay media, and people who don't want gay stuff will be able to just make traditional heroism. So, like, look at the quality of this. This is crazy. It's like, hang on, no, what the friggin' hell? Now, there's flying pigs in it. There's some really weird, dumb stuff, but it shows you the potential of what this is capable of. It's
Why are you hating on flying pigs, man?
If it's well built correctly and it makes sense, okay, I'm perfectly fine with it. So Hollywood, like I said, is freaking out because people are using it already to fix stuff that they don't like and they made. So have you seen this one? Like,
yeah, this one.
Jack, don't leave me.
Except his leg right there. Whoop-de-doo.
There's a goofy thing with the leg. But okay, here. All right, this is interesting.
Did you see the Star Wars one with Padme's boobs?
Oh yeah,
I saw that one too.
Yeah. And the big one, the Lord of the Rings one, and the Eagles. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
So Hollywood is freaking out, but they should realize that this is actually also a big opportunity, right? If they make a system whereby people can actually change movies to cater to their own tastes, that opens up it to more audiences. Like Night of the Seven Kingdoms, AI, remove all the explicit nudity. Okay, tone down the violence.
You know what they need to do with Titanic? They need to have that end scene where Bill Paxton comes up and grabs the necklace from the chick before she throws it into the water.
Yeah, exactly.
And then throws her into the water.
There are some retarded moments in otherwise brilliant films that you can now just like fix with the AI. It's like, oh, I get the perfect version of the media, the story that I want. And if it's media that is owned by an IP holder, they should have a means to technically monetize that. What if they say, all right, here's the film on a digital platform. You are allowed to use AI. You have to pay to watch the film, like you have to rent a movie or something like that. But you have that also as part of the service. You can use AI to change anything in the film.
Oh my gosh. You know who's going to use this? You ever watch the channel How It Should Have Ended?
No.
On YouTube?
Oh, yeah. I know what the concept is, Linus.
Now you can just completely read.
Okay. Nathan has a good counter. He says, except only changes Hollywood allow is make everything gay, black, or a chick, right? Here's the thing. If Hollywood doesn't give people the freedom to do what they want with media, this technology is already out there. People will do it anyway. And so Hollywood, you're retarded. You're either going to lose money and people do it anyway, or you can use it to monetize and get more money by giving people the freedom to make whatever they want. What if there's like a fun action Lord of the Rings? I would love to see myself as Aragorn. Like, here's Lord of the Rings. AI, make me Aragorn. Here's my face. Boom. I'm Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, baby. That's flippin' awesome. I love that. AI has already got the capacity to do that. And you can change. Hey, do you want Tom Bombadil in Lord of the Rings? That was cut out.
Yeah.
The whole scene of Tom Bombadil. AI Tom Bombadil.
Done. If you think Legolas, doing like running on rocks, or that's Hobbit, but other things that you don't like, you can tweak. AI has now the ability to tweak things to make the perfect thing. And like people have been complaining that we haven't had a proper Batman adaptation, and the best Batman adaptation is Batman the Animated Series. You can convert that into live action so easy now with these AI tools, and you get the best, most awesome adaptation you've ever seen. In fact, people are already kind of doing it. This goes a bit too realistic, but have a look at this. You recognize the characters?
Oh, yeah, this guy. Master Roshi versus
Master Roshi versus Tien.
Hey, shouldn't he be Jackie Chun right now or something? He's not supposed to be Master Roshi.
But live action conversions of animation, the AI can do really well. And not only that, you then can determine the style. I want it in the styles of like 80s fantasy with like the way that, or even 50s, filmmaking, or I want it in the style of Chinese kung fu. You would have all the control.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able. I don't think AI could be like, okay, remake Batman versus Superman, but give Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill charisma.
Even AI can't do that.
Even AI can. Okay. So Hollywood is now crapping their pants because they see the end of their gatekeeping. When, look, Hollywood, there is opportunity here for you to monetize this to mega levels. And Disney is kind of trying to do that. And what Disney's trying to do is lock down AI producing their copyrighted IP. Now, in this, they have some legal precedent. They don't have legal precedent to stop people using their IP in the training data. That's already been going through the courts. And the AI companies have been winning in terms of justifying its fair use. And Disney trying to tell China to respect my IP. Good friggin' luck. Now, interesting though. So they sent a cease and desist letter. So this is Disney. And this shows Disney is freaking out about this. So Disney has sent a cease and desist letter to ByteDance over its new C Dance 2.0 video.
This is ironic because just last week Disney said they were going to start using AI.
Yes, they want the control. They'll never be able to regulate open source. But the reality is that, like in this thing, IP holders like Disney do have a right to technically penalize or go after people that are producing derivative media of their copyrighted IP. And so they can't stop AI companies from using their IP in training, in my opinion. I think it's fair use. But using that model then to produce derivative works of copyrighted IP, that is actually in breach of copyright. Just like any fan art technically is in breach of copyright. The copyright owner has the sole, right to give licenses for people to produce derivative work. So look at like Goku. Goku is a specific character design. Okay, that is the kind of copyrighted image of the character. A derivative work is a new artwork that depicts the character in something new, but it is distinctly that copyrighted design. That is considered a derivative work. It is based on a copyrighted design, but it's something new. The copyright owner is the one who has the sole control over making derivative works of their copyrighted IP. And so anyone who spits out, and look, they've been fun. And let me jump to another example because there's been so many. Like, where is the one? Oh, here is a classic example that's been floating around the Twitter sphere. Have you seen this one? Batman versus Captain America, baby. It's doing stuff that people would love to see, but this is actually in full-blown breach of both the copyright of DC and Marvel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it took like a year of negotiations to maybe get this.
Yeah. But what DC and Marvel need to do, they will not be able to stop people doing this. If they want to try and stop C-Dance from giving people the tools, they will just do it with the open source models. AI is the Pandora's box that you can't close. They will not stop people doing it. So what they need to do is monetize it. Okay, just like music. No joke. The music thing. They need an automated system that can detect their copyrighted IP and just claim a share of the ad revenue, or even all of the ad revenue. Technically, they have that right as the copyright owner. And that's how music is handled on YouTube. I get auto detects and then because they can't control it ultimately, but they can monetize it. And that's what they need to do. And then they would actually be getting money from other people making stuff for them. Do you see how much of a win-win this could be? Like if they were able to monetize this, And people would even go forward to, like, imagine someone making a full-blown film of all these crossover characters, and then the IP owner not needing to do any work to produce it, and then gets money from it. Disney is kind of figuring that out. That's why Disney is trying to monetize stuff made with their IP, but trying to stop all the models from being able to make it. Good luck. You're not going to be able to do that, Disney.
You know why? Because if Disney wants to, and this, what you just saw them do with the manga, dude. Disney has 80 years of Marvel comics they could transform into animations overnight.
And they would be better than a lot of the stuff that Marvel is now making.
Can you imagine doing just seeing Frank Miller's Daredevil run as a movie? Oh man,
dude, that'd be like, this is such a golden opportunity for fans and the IP owners. And so Hollywood, like I said, they're totally freaking out, and this will upend the industry. Okay, if AI gets to a point where it can simply make Hollywood level, blockbuster level production, live action video, the old production change is dead. It'll be an artistic kind of project that will happen occasionally, like the theater, you know, the actual real theater where you go in and see people acting. That is still around, but it's like, you know, a novelty. It's not the mainstream of entertainment production now. I think traditional filmmaking is very much headed in that direction. And so this is the double-sided sword. It is going to enable people who never had the ability to make movies and animations and stuff, which I think is so brilliant. I'm excited for it. I could in real life turn my novel into live action film with where this technology is going and have 100% control over the entire thing. Holy crap, that's awesome. I don't know if I'll ever be able to monetize or get it in cinemas, but who knows? Maybe that might be something where it goes in the future. That is awesome. That's brilliant. But the other side is that this is going to be an absolute apocalypse on certain industries. Completely. And so that's the result of where this is coming. And because there is a lot of
that's just going back to monetization. Most of the monetization in Marvel and Disney and all of this stuff, it's not the movies. It's the aftermarket stuff. It's the merch
and things.
Yeah. So if you made a comic book and you turn it into a movie and you just made it free on YouTube and it got super popular,
that's opportunity.
You can sell T-shirts and hats and action figures and all that other stuff that AI cannot create for you.
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's so much opportunity. And so what Disney is doing here, trying to get, so they let a letter of, the letter accuses ByteDance. They sent a cease and desist letter to ByteDance. And they accuse ByteDance of including a pirated library of Disney characters from Star Wars. This is interesting. You notice that they claim this, the pirated, because they know this has already been ruled in court that using copyrighted IP that was obtained legally has already been ruled as a fair use application. This was the legal case that was against the people who make Claude AI, and they got pinged because they found that it had they had pirated literature and books in it, and they had to pay out a thing to every pirated version in it. But all the stuff they obtained legally, like they literally bought books and scanned them into and digitized them and put that into the AI training, that was actually upheld in the court case as a fair use application. Okay. And so Disney, they must be aware of it, that they are specifying pirated stuff, because they know that if ByteDance has used legally obtained media, they have no leg to stand on. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This is a Chinese company, and they pirate friggin' everything. And so they might actually have grounds, justified grounds, to assume that a lot of this stuff was pirated. But how? That's the question. That
they also have China who say, "I don't care about your lawsuit."
Exactly. I don't know how they could litigate it. I do not know how they could litigate this ultimately, but they might be able to block the model being used in other countries. But then VPNs. People are already using VPNs to use CDance. So they're not going to be able to stop it. They'll try and make it more difficult or restriction stuff, but they will not, and especially the open source models, it's over. It is over. But they do want to try and control it. And so what they really need to do is, again, build a system to detect their IP being distributed online, and then have a monetization system on top of it, and let people make whatever they want. Let people make Batman fighting Captain America and just monetize that stuff, and people are making stuff for you for free. It's free money at that point. But yeah, like, how are they going to litigate it? China would just say no, because China doesn't respect copyright much at all. Yet, what is interesting is ByteDance have responded. And this is what they said. Where is it? So this is the one here. About 5 days after the cease and desist, where all the CDN stuff, it's crazy, Disney sent a cease and desist. Paramount sent a cease and desist. MPAA accused ByteDance of unauthorized use of copyrighted works on a massive scale. You notice what they're doing? It's all like they know ByteDance isn't responsible for producing the copyright infringing media. It's the users. And so they could only go after the users for making, Captain America versus Batman. And so their only ground is that it's unauthorized use of copyrighted works. Well, you don't get to stop people from doing. If they obtain that media legally, you don't get to stop them from doing whatever they want. If I buy a DVD, I can burn it. I can wipe my ass with it. You might not like it, but I obtain it legally. I can do whatever I want with it in the law. And that is also any fair use application. And that means I can take clips from it for a review. And that is me literally using copyrighted media. But because it's got fair use, when I say protected, fair use is an appeal. I can appeal to fair use to protect me against any claims of copyright infringement, right? I can do that. You can't stop people from using your copyrighted stuff in legal ways. But that's why Disney's one was very specific about pirated stuff. They do have some grounds to go after. Thing is, though, ByteDance just announced that they're going to add safeguards. This is interesting. This means I think ByteDance is actually wanting Seedance to be a monetized model for people to use all over the globe. If they got really attacked that no, you built this illegally off copyrighted stuff. Sorry, off pirated stuff. There could be grounds to make it illegal to be used in the USA or distributed and stuff. It won't do anything again because people just use it in China. It'll be available in China and people just use VPNs. But this is where it's kind of going. The tool is so good at United Hollywood, all of Hollywood, it gets it in less than a week. But meanwhile, Disney has paid licensing deals with OpenAI to put Marvel and Star Wars characters in Sora. So they're monetizing it the wrong way. They're trying to say, all right, we've allowed Sora to train off our stuff through a licensing deal. And if you pay Sora money to produce content with our license stuff, we get a cut of that, subscription thing. That's how they're kind of going around it that way. When they should just, again, I don't know how they necessarily could do it, a detection system to detect their IP characters. But I mean, AI is already there. AI can detect what Superman is. Like, AI, what is this picture? And it'll go, oh, this is a picture of Superman. So the technology is kind of there. But as a result, people are like, okay, well, we won't make copyrighted stuff. So I stopped trying to create Marvel scenes in Seedance 2, and I'm just making my own thing. Turns out my original content, my original content hits harder when you're not fighting copyright filter every 30 seconds.
It's better, yeah.
Yeah, look at this friggin' bad. This looks wicked, man. And with the correct editing and story, it's just like, holy crap, This is wild. Oh my!
Pretty awesome.
It really is. And then you get so LitDev, you were trying to share this one before. This one is the type of slop that has the potential to be so massive. They unironically made a movie or something that played it straight like this, right? But Lord of the Rings scale. It would actually be huge because people are you can predict what type of slop people want. And you know what this is? It's cute kitties. Cute kitties.
Dark fantasy.
Cute kitties, dark fantasy. It's just like, I don't know, it speaks to the lizard brain in people where it just triggers something where it's like, oh, kitty. And then you see him do this. Oh, where's the sound? Let me get the sound up.
Brother, so it has come to this.
Jeremy Irons' cat.
Jeremy Irons' voice, man. It's like, what the heck?
I can't let you pass.
Like, it's played so straight.
You were always too soft to do what was necessary.
I mean,
do not stand in my way.
That's kind of what Hollywood forgot about because of Marvel. You don't need a quip or someone to go, well, that just happened every 5 seconds. It's just funny on its own when you have like two cats play it completely straight.
I mean, yes, you would call it slop, but I can see the appeal. Even I might have to I could watch a movie like this. This is just fun. It's fun. That's the thing. Yes, there's going to be slop, but there's going to be.
I want to see what happens next.
Oh, we'll get there. There's going to be fun stuff being made that never would have been considered because who would waste millions of dollars to make something so goofy? But then it's just like such fun. If you wish to. Like, look at that, man.
Rest now, brother. The old ways die with you.
I actually love it.
Brother.
It's played so straight, man.
Oh, it's all somber and sad. No.
I know. It's like, okay. Yeah, Hollywood is screwed. There's going to be fun, goofy stuff like this that people are just going to be making. And it's going to be fun. People will consume it because it's fun and goofy. And the thing is, I'm calling it fun and goofy, yet it's played so straight, which is the appeal of it. You see these, especially when they're getting the magic. Look at this. Like, this actually goes hard, man. Watch it. It's like, look at this cat magic. It's like, what the heck, dude? And it looks so real. Like, it actually looks real. It's like, this is better.
I'm rooting for Jeremy Irons' cat. Unfortunately,
I know, man.
I want to see The Usual Suspect, but with cats.
I know. You could do that. Like, Lord of the Rings with cats, you know, Kill Bill with brother. It's just like, and think about the crappy 3D animation we got in The Flash. Like, did you guys watch that? The animation was absolute ass. This kicks the crap out of that. And it was probably, look, I don't know what prompting went in to make something like this. This probably was actually a lot more difficult than I'm giving credit to try and get this result. And then they probably had several different ones that they've edited together because it still takes, at least a vision, like an idea of what you want. And as a result, though, it looks really good. It's just, oh, holy crap. And then you have anime stuff that this was one that Grums shared. And the reason why this one is worth considering, okay, it has high movement action in this one, but it does a couple of things that anime usually has to cut corners on. And it's in the details. When anime goes really, really high movement, they're not going to put every little star on the cloak and every, bit of shading and stuff. Oftentimes the detail lessens when the movement gets faster. AI doesn't do that. Look at the actual, this has technically a lot more details in the movement of the characters in terms of what they're wearing than anime usually maintains. And look, it's a bit frenetic. A lot of the movements, if you look close, they're kind of not connecting, but you can input a pre-choreographed thing and get the movement perfectly solid and make it with these two characters in this scene. And so this is actually
yeah. You have to keep in mind this is all special effects. This is going to be the popcorn, like the Michael Bay stuff, right? This is kind of my comparison. I'd rather watch a Coen Brothers movie 10 times than a Michael Bay movie once. Right?
Possibly, yeah. Like it's
so,
just like
so the thing to me that makes a movie worth watching is the writing and the directing and the acting.
yes.
And so those are things that are not soon going to be replicable. But it's like integrating this kind of stuff. Like I saw a scene a friend sent me where a character, it was a Kamen Rider type thing where the guy he got suited up in a Kamen Rider thing, and I'm like, you could integrate that into a live action moment so easily, and you just cut $50,000 off of your budget by having AI do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So it's gonna be, I mean, you're gonna get stuff where people prompt entire movies and it's Michael Bay crap, but you're gonna be able to integrate some phenomenal stuff to cut the budgets on movies, but still be using traditional acting, traditional directing, traditional writing.
I mean,
and create just great stuff on a peanut butter budget.
Yes, but in addition, there are going to be people who genuinely will like talented at directing and writing that would never be able to break into the mainstream or didn't have to go through the process that will use these tools, and there will be some phenomenal stuff being made. And this will lift the quality. Like there are a lot of animes that I enjoy, story-wise, even quirky-wise, that have cheap animation on the anime spectrum. One that I kind of enjoyed recently, it's called The Overly Cautious Hero. Litdev, do you know of this one?
Vinland Saga too.
Yeah.
Oh, I have heard of Overly Cautious Hero. I think that was one of them, the ones that people really enjoyed.
I actually quite enjoyed it. There is some cheap animation at times where it's really just like outline, block colors and stuff like that. AI is going to enable those animation studios to lift the quality. And this is what this scene is showing. See the details on his armor that is able to maintain those details while in fast motion and movement. And so the quality of anime is going to leap up when they start utilizing this technology to the point where even the cheaper anime that doesn't get the huge budget to get like Mushoku Tensei level animation, right, can compete and look really, really solid. So there are multiple things that this is going to enable people do. And Mike's point is perfectly valid. Like it's going to lower the budget of higher like digital effects so dramatically. And it's hard to kind of predict what it's all going to be like ultimately in the future. Because like talking about visual effects, look at this one. Look at the it's a bit pixelated, but still like, dude. That's like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But that's like what, 100,000 to several hundred thousand, even maybe $1 million, visual effects thing right there. And AI just spits it out. So we've postulated so many different possibilities that this will result. And only time is going to tell. Only time we'll be able to tell what ultimately.
This is funny, kind of a real world thing. I had a movie script that I had at what was that? It was at a production company, but it was for Deal with the Devil, and they had a thing in there where a gas station actually gets blown up. So I called one of my buddies who works in 3D animation. I'm like, how much would it be to model and do everything so we can blow up a gas station that looks real, right? And he said it would be like $500,000, like $500,000, to blow up a gas station in 3D. Mm-hmm. And now imagine having to blow up a gas station in real life. You're gonna run into some problems. But now you could just do that with this for free.
Look at this. This is anime to live action with AI. and it's just like, holy crap, this is amazing, dude. I'm all here for stuff like this. Like, I can't wait to enjoy media in so many different new ways that I love, and it's gonna, people will be making more and more. It will, like, this is changing the world. It is destroying certain industries completely, and this is, and look, maybe it might destroy YouTube. I'm not, joking about that. Maybe, my own career will get gutted by this, and if it does, it's kind of like an adapt or die situation. I'm not saying we're not going to see negative effects from this, and I also said that if people misuse this stuff, it could be really bad, and it's on us. It's on us to see if we can use this for our betterment and joy, or our ultimate destruction. We'll have to wait and see. But I know I'm going to try and use it responsibly, and I'm going to enjoy some awesome stuff made from it in the process. That's kind of like where I'm at with it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, let's have fun with it. Yes. It's already here. It's here to stay. You're not going to, like, you ain't complaining about it. It's not going to get rid of it. And also, the thing is, if you can make a cool little, like, all these people making their imaginations run wild with it. I mean, sure, it might not be a movie or whatever, but people, so, like, imagine somebody making a movie with this stuff. Or little scene, and then someone else sees that and makes a whole story out of it, of their own creation. So some of these videos can inspire them. Heck, this is what they used to do in back in the Pulp Fiction days. They wouldn't get videos, but they would get like a picture or something like that, and they would imagine the story that involved the picture and stuff like that. So yeah, this is kind of like, this is stuff that writers have been doing for a long time. Like, people will look at something, or they'll look at a picture, or they get inspired by a film, and they'll make their own original IP from something in the whole show, or the movie or book or whatever it is. Like, there's a lot of anime that just kind of like took Harry Potter and, like, Magical Muscle and Magic, that became its own thing. It's like a meme, but it was clearly inspired by Harry Potter. So yeah, it's like one aspect or an aspect or two, or maybe one storyline or something that really would inspire someone else to create something wholly original. And it's kind of, so this could really exacerbate that when people are just launching out little clips of their own original ideas like this. Okay, I want to have a first person dragon riding scenario. It'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it actually will. And I'm kind of excited for it. I'm kind of excited to see not only what people can make, but enjoying media that I've always wanted to see. Like, I would genuinely make a live action AI, conversion of Batman the Animated Series. I would love that. That's exciting to me. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to see some stuff. I can't wait to make some stuff with it. So let's hope, people people will be able to control themselves. But there is a pertinent chat, which, like, it's a foreboding warning where he says, we are gooning too close to the sun already. It's like,
yeah, you mentioned that people will use this for pornography.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, it's going to be the prompt. Lord of the Rings, but everyone's naked.
Oh my god.
Gandalf and Erwin.
Look.
Yeah, Gandalf and Galadriel.
Yeah.
Elrond, Gandalf, and Galadriel.
Glengarry Glen Ross in a brothel.
I mean, yeah. I admit, like, yeah, that is a problem. Going to be a problem. Yeah.
With the holodeck from Star Trek.
Yes, it is. It basically is.
Barkley just makes his own version of the crew and stuff.
Yeah. But like, Star Trek had this optimistic kind of depiction of the future, that humanity evolved to a point where they would use it responsibly. Could we ever do that?
Riker would have been in there freaking 12 hours a day.
But he wasn't. Riker, like,
he would have been, though. Come on.
That's like, Barkley was basically got pretty close to that, where he had, Deanna Troi in love with him, kind of thing, in the AI, or a character that was based on her. But it was funny, like, Deanna Troi, she defended him doing that to everyone else. She's like, he's just using, like, this is an artistic expression based on your likeness. And then when they come across her, she's like ticked off, and Riker's just like, well, it's just, him utilizing this thing. So anyway, oh dear. But hey, let's quickly grab these super chats because.
Oh, hey, did you see that Tin Man video I posted?
No, not sure I did.
It was a music video. It's really long, but it's like it was a music video of a song called Tin Man, and it's about Data, but it's like him in all these. It's like all those different Star Trek casts in this music video. It's pretty cool. I mean, you can watch a couple minutes or a couple seconds of it or whatever, but I think it's on my page. I tagged Star Wars Girl in it.
Book of Grudges for $10 says, said it last night on Gary's channel and say it again here. Arlan of Pennytree was not a great man. He was a good one. And sometimes that means more. Well said. Genuinely, well said. I agree 100%. Taker 610 for $5 says, I would think AI would be most useful not to make entire projects, but to make special effects faster and cheaper. That is what tools do. And that's Mike's point as well. And it will do that. It will do both. It will actually do both. So the future, we just need to wait and see what happens. That's literally where we're at. We're like, it's moving so fast. I can't rightly predict how things are going to be utilized. I hope that it's going to be the fun stuff. I'm worried about the bad stuff.
We can predict the gooning.
The gooning is going to happen. But
that will happen.
Like the thing is, hopefully there'll also be pushback against it. There kind of is. Like there's good pushback against the OnlyFans thoughts and people embracing like traditional, marriage and stuff like that. And have you seen like there was like even an AI which put more clothes on women who were dressing very skankily.
Somehow don't think that actually put a dent in OnlyFans though.
Possibly not, but OnlyFans is trash, and anyone who uses it should, repent, because it's just an exploitative thing completely. And that's people will, voice a thing, but at the end of the day, people also have their free will, and they'll choose what they do, and on their heads be it. Dev and I kind of joked about this, like if the ultimate end is people gooning themselves into extinction, Mike, it means the righteous shall inherit the earth.
Literally.
like what if this is how the millennial reign?
It's already working. The left doesn't breed, so we're just going to end up breeding them for the next generation.
That's
then if they do, all their children become right wing. That's what. I
don't know how the millennial reign will come in, but there's things to speculate on. So look, this has been a hilarious, fun live stream. Wrapping it up now. Mike, was there anything you want to mention now that we're closing off?
Just again, if you guys are interested in any of the Hedge Knight pages, I mean, they are not cheap, but they are limited to reality. So I mean, there's only so many pages. There's only one copy of each. So if you do have a page or a scene or something that you wanted, then you can contact me through MikeSMillerArt.com. I've got a handful of them up there now. I'm not going to put all of them up there because that'd be a huge job in and of itself. But I have these. I can do commissions, whatever you want. If you're interested in original art in any way, shape, or form, then hit me up there while I'm not busy doing other things.
Awesome. Lit Dev, anything you want to mention?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you. I had this idea, this question about involving fantasy and everything, medieval fantasy. Now, there is, and speaking of anime also, there is a subgenre of isekai anime called the villainous anime. And usually it's like it's for girls usually, but it's like the idea is the girl gets killed in some way and she gets reborn in her favorite romance game. And she's the villainess. Now, a lot of different things that happen here, but usually it's a mix of a lot of handsome guys that's part of the game because it's a romance game, but the big scene, the villainess's big scene, is usually the denouncement scene, and that is like she goes to a big party where she's engaged to the prince, but she's been mean to the commoner, kind-hearted protagonist. And the prince takes the protagonist's side and breaks off his engagement, denounces the villainess, announces his marriage to the commoner, and banishes or kills or whatever to the villainess. Now, my thinking was after learning all this stuff, I was like, okay, so if you were the king and the father of this prince. Because what usually happens is the protagonist is a commoner, and the villainess, of course, is like a daughter of a duke or a marquis or something. And then the prince on his own, this says, you know what? Screw that. You're a meanie. I'm going to break our contract and our marriage. And I'm going to, instead of that, I'm going to marry this commoner lady. And I'm also going to banish you, the villainess, the daughter of a very powerful vassal. So if you were the king in the situation and learned that your son did all this without consulting you by himself, what would you do?
Oh, that's tough. Because like, there's what I would do, but then what would the king do? And that's really dependent on the king's own kind of moral compass and how he sees his authority and stuff. Because like on its fundamental level, the prince is overstepping his authority. But sometimes princes are given a certain measure of authority, especially if they have like a title, because a lot of princes ended up becoming dukes by title and governing certain duchies as well and other things. And so if they have like the judicial authority in their region, they can do that type of stuff. But if they don't have judicial authority and they're overstepping the thing, the king could either, reverse it. But if it's the similar judgment that the king would make, he could say, well, I'm upholding it because now I'm decreeing the same thing. So it really depends. Yeah.
What was it? Like I was just thinking because when Robb Stark did that, he got red weddinged. And so I know like the consequences aren't always this romantic romance game of, oh, the villainess is gone forever. And he's marrying the commoner and there's no consequences whatsoever. I'm pretty sure there would be consequences for this. And I was just thinking like, because I played Crusader Kings 3 and that's a lot about that, marriages and alliances. And if one of my sons, would have did that on his own and just married some other commoner, I would send him off to Crusade to die or something.
Well, yeah, like under that, the basic line is that he is stepping on the king's authority, and consequences could absolutely be imposed by the king being very put out for that. Absolutely. Awesome. Was there anything else you wanted to mention? Shout out?
Oh, that's about it. Oh, this morning show every Monday through Friday in around 9 a.m. Eastern. Pretty fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. And for me, well, I will be filming stuff for Shadiversity, testing things in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Last episode, I want to test all the hits that Dunk got against real Chainmail, and also the final killing blow against Baylor. And I hope to get one of those videos out for this weekend. But if not, because it might take a bit more editing to get it out on time, that'll be next week's the week after. But I'm excited to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So look out for that. And then, of course, always here on Night's Watch, the Culture Crusade. And as always, everyone, thank you for joining us and stay on watch.